The story begins with two friends, Lucas and Daniel, driving down the road in a car. Lucas keeps drinking water, one bottle after another, and it starts to irritate his friend because Lucas always needs to pee soon after. And that is exactly what happens. A little while later, Lucas asks Daniel to pull the car over. He hurries to the side of the road and starts to pee. And while he is doing that, he hears Daniel's car horn blaring nonstop. But when he goes back to look, Daniel is not in the car at all. A claw mark has been carved into the car. Lucas climbs inside and calls Daniel's phone. But the phone is right there in the car. And that is when Lucas hears a sound behind him. But there is no one back there. The car radio switches on by itself. Lucas freezes in fear. And then Daniel slams into the front windshield, drenched in blood, screaming for help. But something rips him away and hurls him onto the road. Lucas goes to look at Daniel. Terrified, he runs back to the car. And right there in front of him, someone is standing. Lucas tries to start the engine. He races away as fast as he can. He keeps telling himself that the man is not real. But a little further down the road, he sees the man again. Again and again, the figure appears on the road ahead of him. And finally, it is sitting inside his car. The scene shifts to a girlfriend and boyfriend, Maddie and Tyler, who are leaving their apartment behind to live full-time in a van. From now on, this van is their home. Tyler has brought Maddie a housewarming gift. It is a minifigure of Bob Ross. Tyler also hangs a St. Christopher necklace inside the van. He is the patron saint of travelers, and Tyler's family always drove with one of these. The two of them leave the city behind. 6 weeks later, they are headed to a hot spring. But they get stuck in traffic, and the hot spring closes. So they park the van on a residential street for the night. Maddie watches a family inside a house celebrating a birthday. And right there, Tyler opens a bottle of champagne to celebrate their 6 weeks. He has decorated the van a little. Tyler proposes to Maddie. But just then, they hear a knock on the van. They cannot camp on a residential street. Neighborhood Watch gives them 1 minute to move. So Maddie says yes to the proposal. They hold each other tight. Then they take the van and drive away. They decide to stop at a hotel for the night. After a while, Tyler falls asleep and Maddie takes the wheel. And that is when a car pulls up beside them, driving recklessly. Maddie slows the van down. But a little further along, they find that same car wrapped around a tree. Tyler calls the authorities. An injured Lucas crawls out of the car. And something drags him back inside. Tyler looks inside the car, and there is no one in there except Lucas. He tells him the ambulance is on the way. And suddenly Lucas's airbag deploys and snaps his neck. Outside, Maddie spots that claw mark on Lucas's car. She also sees a man standing at the edge of the woods. But when Tyler shines his flashlight over there, no one is there. And then the police arrive. Tyler sends Maddie back to the van. And right there, Maddie feels someone behind her. But when she turns all the way around, there is no one. She checks the dash cam footage. The video from before that car passed them has been corrupted, which is strange. But Tyler pulls her attention away from it and tells her there is a van life meetup tomorrow. How about we go there? The next morning, they are about to head out when Tyler spots that claw mark on their van. Maddie says the same mark was on that car. The two of them arrive at the meetup, and Tyler meets a famous YouTuber named Brad Fuller. But inside the van, Maddie notices that the fresh apples she bought just yesterday have completely rotted. Tyler shows Brad his van, and Brad sees the claw mark. Maddie leaves the two of them alone and heads out for a walk. A man hands her a church pamphlet. Further along, Maddie sees missing posters for dozens of people. And there, drawn on a stick figure, she sees that same claw mark. She meets a woman named Diane who has been living the van life for more than 20 years. Maddie asks her how long it took her to fully adjust, because Tyler adjusted in 2 hours. But Maddie is still reluctant. This doesn't feel like home to her yet. So Maddie tells Diane about the accident she witnessed. The moment she hears it, Diane asks, "Did you stop?" Diane spells it out for her. "You stay off the quieter roads. Don't drive at night. And if you do, never stop." By then Tyler has gotten their van fixed, and for free. That night, everyone parties. But Maddie keeps catching glimpses of that man here too. The next day, as she walks from the gym back toward the van, she feels like someone is behind her. She starts hearing footsteps. But no one is there. And when Maddie turns back around, her van has moved farther away from her. Terrified, Maddie runs and throws herself inside. She checks every camera on the van. Not a single one shows anyone. But then a dash cam notification comes through on her phone. In Lucas's car, she sees someone else in there with him. And that is when the van's horn starts blaring. Maddie shuts it off. She checks all the cameras again. One camera is black. And suddenly she sees someone standing in it, who closes the distance in an instant. Something starts slamming against the side of the van. Maddie quickly texts Tyler, "Come back," but then the back door swings open. Maddie tries to start the van, and the back door slams shut. Her seatbelt cinches tight around her. The thing comes at her and chokes her. She can see him in the mirror. She rips the mirror off and attacks him with it. Maddie stumbles out of the van. Tyler comes and checks inside. And Maddie realizes the thing was hurt by the necklace. Maddie tells Tyler everything. She says the dash cam must have recorded all of it. But the dash cam doesn't record when the van isn't moving. So Maddie shows him the video from Lucas's car. Tyler can't see the thing in the video. But even so, he is willing to believe her. The next morning, while shopping at a store, Maddie finds a book. It explains the meaning of those 3 slashes. It's not safe here. And when they walk back to their van, that mark has appeared on it again. Seeing it, Maddie's fear deepens. That night, camping in a forest, she researches these signs further. She learns there have been countless roadway terrors involving vehicles marked with 3 scratch symbols. Folk tales refer to that thing as the passenger. Anyone who has lived on the roads long enough can tell you about him. But then Tyler comes and takes Maddie outside, where he has set up a projector and prepared a movie night. The two of them sit down to watch. Tyler tells her that his old boss called and offered him his old job back. He can do it completely remotely now, and with a pay raise too. But Maddie isn't very happy. She doesn't think this van life is sustainable. Every single night they have to hunt for a safe spot to sleep. She doesn't like this life. She grew up shuffled from one foster home to another. She never had a fixed home. This van life was fun at first, but now she wants to stop. So Tyler says sadly, "Okay, I'll pack up the van and sell it." But Maddie says no. "You love this, and I would never ask you to give up your dream." And right then, a strange sound comes through the speaker. The lights flicker. They see someone behind the projector screen. Tyler switches on his flashlight and walks up to the screen. Someone is standing there with his face pressed into the projector screen. But when Tyler pulls the screen away, there is no one behind it. Maddie picks up the projector and starts sweeping it across the forest. They hear footsteps circling them from every direction. And right there, Maddie sees the passenger again. She and Tyler run inside the van. The passenger climbs on top of it. The whole van starts shaking. And when the rattling stops, Tyler realizes he doesn't have the van keys. They must have fallen outside. Tyler grabs a baseball bat and goes out to look for them. And then they hear the jangling of the keys. Tyler follows the sound. The keys are hanging from a branch. And that's when he sees the passenger too. But Maddie pulls him away. They take the van and flee. Tyler now understands what Maddie has been seeing. They pull into a diner, where Maddie shows Tyler the book. She tells him hobo people use these symbols to warn each other. And this scratch sign was on their van and on that crashed car. The passenger made that guy crash, and then we stopped, and somehow now he is latched onto us. Tyler suggests he marked the van, so they should just dump it. But Maddie says no. He has marked us, not the van. Frightened, Maddie goes to the washroom, and there, in her anxiety, she sees a name. Flagstaff, where Diane was heading next. She tells Tyler that maybe Diane knows a way to escape this. The next morning they set out for Flagstaff, but as soon as it gets dark, their van's tire blows out. Tyler says we'll make it quick and steps outside. He starts changing the tire, but the tire bolts vanish. They have rolled under the van. Tyler goes under to grab them, and that's when the jack they set starts unscrewing itself. In the van's blinking hazards, Maddie sees a hand inside the van. A hand clamps over her mouth and drags her away. Tyler sees her being dragged off, and when he tries to get out, the van drops onto his leg. He somehow pulls his leg free. Maddie's necklace has fallen right there on the road. Tyler fixes the van and starts searching for Maddie. And when Maddie comes to, a car and a motorcycle are crashed together in front of her. She walks closer to them. But then Tyler shows up, except it isn't really Tyler. It's the passenger. He takes control of Maddie's body and sits her down in the middle of the road. Tyler's van comes barreling toward her. Tyler stops the van at the very last second. He rushes out and picks Maddie up. The two of them hurry to where Diane is. But the people there refuse to admit they know Diane. They tell them to leave. And that's when Diane steps forward. The moment they tell her something is following us, Diane tells them to leave too. She blows a whistle. Everyone starts locking themselves inside their vans. Diane explains that he is a highwayman from hell. He gets his fun by causing wrecks on the highway. And the fact that it hasn't killed you yet means it's enjoying the ride. And he picked them because they stopped. Diane has survived all these years by following that one rule. Never stop. And these amateurs broke it. So Maddie tells her, I hurt him when our St. Christopher medallion touched him. Diane says there is an old story. A marked trucker went to a St. Christopher church and escaped the passenger. So maybe they can go there and survive too. And on holy ground, with his power weakened, they might be able to kill him. But this church isn't on any map. It's on a dead-end road in the middle of a desert. Diane agrees to take them there herself. But the moment they head for their vans, the passenger arrives and kills Diane. So the two of them flee. They reach a gas station. Maddie says we have to make it to that church. We'll check for a road heading in that direction. They buy as many St. Christopher medallions as they can. They hang them all over the van. Researching online, they learn that a young St. Christopher wandered the roads with a nomadic monk. But one morning the monk suddenly stopped, terrified by a cross on the side of the road. That's how Christopher realized this was no monk. It was a demon, meaning the demon is St. Christopher's dark opposite and has existed since their time. And then, in broad daylight, their eyes close, and when they open, it's suddenly night. Their fuel has run low too. But right then, Maddie spots a hobo code sign. Maddie turns the van. She's taking a huge risk because there is no road this way. Their radio switches on by itself. Further ahead, they see another sign. Following it, they end up on a dirt road. The church has to be somewhere on this road. But up ahead, old abandoned cars are blocking the way. So Tyler grabs a medallion and climbs out. He guides Maddie through the wreckage. But a little further on, Tyler stops in a strange way. Maddie gets out and walks over to him. The church is right in front of them. But the road ahead is covered with countless dead bodies, wrapped in white cloth. Tyler says none of this is real. The two of them get back in the van. But as Maddie drives over the bodies, she hears them cracking and breaking. Blood is coming out of them. The van's back door swings open, and every medallion slides out and falls onto the road. Tyler shuts the door. Then the passenger comes inside and attacks Tyler. Tyler grabs a medallion and thrusts it at the passenger. But the passenger snaps his arm. The passenger throws Tyler out of the van and turns toward Maddie. But Maddie slams on the brakes. The passenger goes flying and lands in front of the church. Maddie rams him with the van and drives him straight inside. She hits him right near the St. Christopher statue. But the passenger still isn't finished. He starts climbing onto her van. Maddie has to drive him straight into the statue. The statue has tipped forward. Maddie drives the passenger straight onto St. Christopher's staff. The passenger begins to die. Maddie's van has run out of fuel. Fire spreads through the church. Maddie climbs out of the van and runs. But the church is collapsing. Tyler comes and pulls Maddie out. The two of them survive. Maddie brought her ring out of the van. Tyler slides it onto her finger. He decides to get a house in a gated community and never leave. And with that, this story comes to an end. Let us know in the comments how you liked this explanation, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.